Hey guys, and welcome to our exploration of the delightful poem on the grasshopper and cricket, written by the renowned poet John Keats. In this poem, Keats invites us to delve into the contrasting lives and attitudes of two fascinating insects, the grasshopper and the cricket. Before we embark on this poetic journey and uncover the hidden meanings within Keats' words, let's have a quick look at the poet himself. John Keats was born on October 31st, 1795, and unfortunately, he passed away from tuberculosis at the very young age of 26 on February 23rd, 1821. Even though his life was short, his poetry left a lasting impact on the world. Keats was an English poet who wrote during the literary movement called Romanticism. He had a special talent for creating vivid pictures with his words. His poetry became very popular, especially during the Victorian era, which was a time period that came after his death. Now, let's explore the origins of our featured poem on the grasshopper and cricket. Keats wrote this poem in 1816 for a friendly contest with his friend Leigh Hunt. During the contest, both poets had just 15 minutes to write a short poem on a chosen topic. Keats' topic was nature, and what emerged from this creative challenge was a fascinating poem we're about to study together. Let's embark on the poetic journey and discover the wonders hidden within On the Grasshopper and Cricket by John Keats. Let's read the poem. As we read, pay attention to the rhyme scheme, specifically the pattern of the octave, the first 8 lines, and the sestet, the last 6 lines. Mark the rhyming lines with letters, starting with A and B, etc. In addition, while reading, I want you to highlight any words whose meanings you are uncertain about. This will help us expand our vocabulary and deepen our understanding of the poem's imagery and themes.
The poetry of earth is never dead. When all the birds are faint with the hot sun and hide in cooling trees, a voice will run from hedge to hedge about the new-mown mead. That is the grasshopper's. He takes the lead in summer luxury. He has never done with his delights. For when tired out with fun, he rests at ease beneath some pleasant weed. The poetry of earth is ceasing never. On a lone winter evening, when the frost has wrought a silence, from the stove there shrills the cricket's song, in warmth increasing ever, and seems to one in drowsiness half lost, the grasshoppers among some grassy hills. Sonnet 15, On the Grasshopper and Cricket, written by John Keats, narrated by Jordan Harlan.
Great! I hope you've enjoyed reading through the poem and have marked the rhyme scheme and unfamiliar words. Now, let's move on to the next slide. Language evolves over time, and the vocabulary used in poems written in 1816 may not be as familiar to us today. In order to enhance our understanding, let's explore a more contemporary version of On the Grasshopper and Cricket. Listen carefully to this modern interpretation. The grasshopper is singing all day, in the sunny months of blooming May. It hops and jumps with joy and cheer, with the summer days are bright and clear. The cricket in the winter's cold chirps a song simple but bold. In the frosty nights it finds delight, singing its tune throughout the night. The grasshopper and cricket are two, each with its song, both old and new. One loves the warmth, the other the cold. Yet both find happiness, as we're told. So let us learn from these creatures small to find joy and singing both winter and fall. in every season find our own voice, and with nature's rhyme, rejoice. Okay, so perhaps we did turn the poem on its head, but I hope now its meaning you get. It captures the essence of the original poem while using language that is more familiar to us today. By presenting the poem in a modern way, we aim to deepen our understanding and connect with its themes and messages. So, as we reflect on this modern adaptation, let's move on to the next slide for a quick summary of the poem, ensuring that we grasp the key ideas and lessons. This poem celebrates the beauty and liveliness of nature, showcasing the music that fills the earth. The title itself suggests the presence of two insects, symbolizing the joy and energy of nature, even in extreme conditions. The first 8 lines of the poem, called the octave, describes the summertime. While birds seek shelter from the hot weather, the grasshopper continues to sing its cheerful song in the fields and hedges. When the grasshopper gets tired, it rests in the shades of the weed. The second part, the last 6 lines, called the sestet, takes place in winter. The winter arrives and most creatures find shelter from the cold, silence and loneliness. The cricket song emerges. The cricket's persistent chirping highlights the unyielding nature of the natural world. To someone dozing by the fire, the song of the grasshopper and the cricket may sound similar. These songs are connected, representing the enduring and loving force of nature, the poetry of earth that never stops. Keats skillfully uses a form called the Petrarchan sonnet, also known as the Italian sonnet, to express the beauty of nature, and specifically praises the grasshopper and cricket for their contribution to the music of the earth. Both insects survive the harshest weather and continue to fly around, making their buzzing sound. In both the octave and sestet, Keats starts by stating that the poetry of the earth is alive and thriving. Now, let's move on to the next section of our presentation, where we will explore the challenging words used in the poem and their meanings. You may pause the video and take your time to copy the meaning of these words. Additionally, if you have highlighted any other unfamiliar words while we read through the poem, feel free to add them to the list and find their meanings as well. Understanding the vocabulary used in the poem will help us appreciate its imagery and connect with its themes. Once you have familiarized yourself with these words, we can move on to the next section of our presentation. Now, let's explore the type and structure of the poem. The construction of the poem also enhances its meaning. This poem is written in the form of an Italian sonnet, which originated in Italy and became popular during the Renaissance. It consists of 14 lines, divided into 2 parts, the octave and the sestet. The octave, consisting of 8 lines, presents the main idea of the poem. It captures the vitality of nature in the scorching heat of summer. The rhyme scheme of the octave is A, B, B, A, B, B, A, creating a structured pattern of rhyming lines. The sestet, comprising of the last 6 lines, serves as a conclusion to and an elaboration on the idea presented in the octave. It introduces the contrasting winter setting. The rhyme scheme of the sestet is C, D, E, C, D, E, adding further structure and rhyme to the poem. The poem follows the iambic pentameter, a rhythmic pattern commonly used in sonnets. This means each line consists of 5 pairs of unstressed and stressed syllables, creating a smooth and flowing rhythm. Now, let's take a closer look at the title of the poem. The title itself holds significance and provides valuable insight into the poem's subject matter and themes. The poem is titled On the Grasshopper and Cricket, emphasizing the focus on these two insects and their relationship with nature. The use of on suggests that the poem will explore and develop into the subject of the grasshopper and cricket. The grasshopper and cricket, as mentioned earlier, symbolize different aspects of nature and its resilience. By dedicating the poem to these creatures, John Keats highlights their importance in capturing the vitality and music of the natural world. Because of these two insects, there will never be a time when the world will be without beauty or song. Moving on to the mood and tone of the poem. Understanding the mood and tone helps us grasp the overall atmosphere and emotions conveyed by the poem. Remember, the tone is the writer's attitude towards the subject. Tone can be sarcastic, sad, optimistic, etc. The mood is the reader's attitude as he or she reads the poem. The mood can be funny, scary, sad, happy, etc. This poem establishes a joyful and celebratory tone and mood throughout. It showcases the beauty of nature regardless of the season and highlights the enchanting sounds of birds' song and the buzzing of insects. This uplifting tone is primarily achieved through the voices of the grasshopper and the cricket. These insects symbolize life, beauty, and hope, infusing the poem with a sense of optimism and resilience. The harshness of the scorching summer heat is softened by the presence of cooling trees and the captivating green scenery. It portrays nature as a comforting and refreshing sanctuary. In contrast, the poem also presents a lonely and cool winter scene. However, the tone shifts as the warmth of the fire and the melodious singing of the cricket brings comfort and warmth to the bleakness. Now, let's delve into the underlining themes woven into the poem. But first, a joke. What is green and can jump a mile in a minute? A grasshopper with hiccups. Corny, I know. But at least I've made you smile. Or else you might think your teacher has completely lost the plot. So, without further ado, on with the poem. Themes are the central idea or message that the author wants us to contemplate and reflect upon. The first theme is the beauty of nature. This sonnet celebrates the physical world and its natural splendor. Through the voices of the grasshopper and cricket, we hear the poetry of nature, emphasizing its constant presence and the enchanting sound it produces. The second theme is endurance. The poem symbolizes the beauty and endurance found in nature. Despite harsh conditions, both the grasshopper and cricket persevere. The grasshopper continues to sing even in the scorching heat, while the cricket finds its song even in the cold of winter. The third theme is immortality. The sonnet conveys the idea of eternal delight in the beauty of nature. It suggests that the enduring qualities of nature, the resilience of life, and the love for poetry will never fade away. Now, let's dive into a line-by-line analysis of the poem. Line 1. In this opening line, we encounter a metaphor. The speaker refers to the sounds made by nature and its inhabitants, such as plants, insects, and birds, as the poetry of earth. The metaphor emphasizes the harmonious and rhythmic quality of nature's melodies. The metaphor is contained in the phrase, the poetry of earth. The sounds made by nature is compared to poetry. The line also conveys the idea that the music of nature is always alive and vibrant. It never ceases to exist, even as seasons change and different creatures take their turn as singers. The use of the colon indicates that the remainder of the sonnet will serve as an explanation or elaboration on this initial statement. In other words, the use of the colon introduces an explanation. The phrase never dead indicates that the music of nature is continuous and everlasting. Lines 2 to 4. In these lines, the speaker describes the hot and sweltering environment where the birds are tired and weakened by the scorching sun. Seeking relief, they take shelter in the cooling shades of the trees. In short, the birds are exhausted by the hot sun and they find refuge in the cooling shades of the tree. Despite the bird's silence, a new voice emerges in the poem. The speaker presents the grasshopper as this new singer. As indicated by the phrase, a voice will run. The voice of the grasshopper travels from one hedge to another, creating a continuous sound that echoes throughout the newly mowed meadows. To summarize, the grasshopper becomes the new voice in nature's symphony. Its voice travels from hedge to hedge in the meadows as he moves around. It might, however, also indicate that there are more than one grasshopper. Now, let's examine lines 5 to 8 and uncover their deeper meaning. In these lines, the focus shifts to the grasshopper and his role in the summer landscape. The speaker personifies the grasshopper, presenting him as a leading figure who sets an example for others. The grasshopper takes the lead in the summer and he finds joy and pleasure in everything he does. The grasshopper embodies the concept of indulgence in the luxuries of summer. Unlike other creatures, he never tires of enjoying the delights of the season. He sings joyfully, reveling in the heat and radiating his vibrant energy. However, even the grasshopper reaches a point of exhaustion from his active participation in all the festivities. He tires out from all the fun-filled activities. He seeks comfort and relaxation beneath a pleasant weed, a simple but comforting shelter. The grasshopper rests beneath a pleasant weed. Note that there is nothing negative in the natural world. Even the weeds are described as pleasant. These lines mark a shift in the poem as the landscape and focus transitions from summer to winter. Now, let's explore the profound meaning behind line 9. In line 9, the speaker repeats the central idea introduced in line 1. The poetry of earth is never dead, emphasizing the enduring nature of the poetry of earth. Here the line serves as a bridge between the octave and the sestet, preparing us for the shift in focus to the cricket. When the poet says, the poetry of earth never ceases, he emphasizes that nature's poetic essence is eternal. The line expresses a heightened sense of vibrancy and energy. Nature's poetry, represented by the sounds and voices of the earth, never stops. It continues to flow endlessly, undying and everlasting. To emphasize the idea of endlessness, the poet employs inversion in the line structure. By placing never at the end, it becomes a focal point, magnifying the significance of unceasing nature. As mentioned before, the line sets the stage for the transition from the summer setting to the winter landscape in the sestet. In short, the inversion emphasizes the enduring nature of poetry, and this line sets the stage for the shift from summer to winter. Let's continue our analysis by delving into the last 4 lines of the poem. Lines 11 to 14. In these lines, the focus shifts to a winter setting, contrasting the previous summer scene. The atmosphere is one of serene calmness, as if the world has been molded into frozen stillness by the personified frost. The setting is winter, quiet and frozen. Frost has created a silent landscape. Amid this hushed winter landscape, the poem introduces the cricket. While other animals seek refuge indoors, the cricket's song persists, reverberating through the silence. The cricket finds warmth and comfort near a stove, and his song grows louder, filling the cozy kitchen. The cricket's song breaks the winter silence and symbolizes warmth and comfort amidst the cold. The presence of the cricket next to the warm stove provides a contrast to the frosty world outside. This domestic scene evokes feelings of warmth and comfort, offering relief from the winter chill. In short, winter is depicted in a cozy domestic setting, and the cricket brings warmth and life. The human listener, half lost in drowsiness, either blends the sounds of the cricket and the grasshopper together, perceiving their melody as one, or struggles to differentiate between the two. Their rhythmic song intertwines, symbolizing the unbroken thread of nature's eternal song. The poem emphasizes the contrasting but interconnected nature of summer and winter. The persistent chirping of both the grasshopper and the cricket echoes through the seasons, reminding us of the unceasing beauty of the natural world. Summer and winter are linked by the songs of the grasshopper and the cricket. They are nature's persistent and loving force. Despite the harshness and silence of summer and winter, the enduring beauty of the world remains steadfast. The song of the world continues unadapted. In the unbroken thread of nature's poetry, we find comfort, hope, and a connection to something constant and beautiful. These final lines tenderly convey the resilience and enduring beauty found in the natural world. The unceasing song of nature serves as a reminder of hope and a source of comfort in times of hardship. It is a testament to the everlasting connection between humanity and the enduring forces of the earth. That concludes our analysis of this poem. But before I go, let's have a quick look at a few possible exam questions. I will show you the question first and then reveal a possible answer. Feel free to pause the video and try to answer the question first before I reveal the answer. Question 1. Both the octave and sextet begins with the same words and the same idea. What do you understand by the poetry of the earth? And how does it connect with the last words of both lines 1 and 9? Here is a possible answer. Note that the poetry of the earth refers to the natural sounds and voices present in the environment, created by various elements such as insects, birds, and other living beings. It represents the music of nature, the vibrant and ever-present energy that emanates from the natural world. In the poem, the phrase, "the poetry of the earth," is used at the beginning of both the octave and sextet, emphasizing its significance and continuity throughout the poem. In line 1, it states that the poetry of the earth is never dead, highlighting the perpetual existence and enduring nature of nature's music. Similarly, in line 9, the phrase, "the poetry of the earth is ceasing never," reinforces the idea that nature's poetry, its sounds and voices, will never cease to come to an end. It signifies the constant presence and eternal quality of the beauty and vitality found in nature. By connecting the last words of both lines 1 and 9, the poem emphasizes the unbroken thread of nature's poetry. Despite the changing seasons and different singers, grasshopper in summer, cricket in winter, the underlying message is that the music of nature continues unabated. The repetition of the opening phrase in both sections of the sonnet creates a sense of continuity and reinforces the idea that the poetry of the earth, with its enduring beauty and vitality, remains a constant force in our lives. Question 2. Lines 1 and 9 end with a colon. What is the function of a colon and why is it used here? A colon is used at the end of line 1 and 9 to introduce further explanation or elaboration on the preceding statements. It signals that the following lines will provide more insight into the concept of the poetry of earth and its connection to the eternal patterns of nature. The colon structures the poem and guides the reader's understanding of the unfolding ideas. Question 3. Comment on the word voice and then explain how the grasshopper's voice will run from H to H. The word voice represents the sound of the grasshopper rubbing its back legs together. It symbolizes the grasshopper's presence and vitality. The phrase voice will run from H to H implies that the collective sound of multiple grasshoppers can be heard across different locations, creating a symphony of nature's music. Keats portrays the grasshopper as an energetic creature contributing to the lively atmosphere of summer. Question 4. Refer to lines 5 to 8. What sort of personality is given to the grasshopper in these lines? Quote to substantiate your answer. The grasshopper in lines 5 to 8 is portrayed as a lively and cheerful character who embraces the joys of summer. The line, "He takes the lead in summer luxury," suggests that the grasshopper enthusiastically enjoys the abundance and pleasures of the season. Unlike the birds, who become faint and seek shelter from the hot sun, the grasshopper does not tire of the heat and continues to revel in the delights of summer. The phrase, "when tired out with fun," further highlights the grasshopper's energetic and playful nature. Despite engaging in activities that may tire him, he remains enthusiastic and finds satisfaction in the experiences. This portrayal conveys a positive and optimistic personality, emphasizing the grasshopper's ability to find delight in life and embrace the joys of the present moment. Question 5. How and why does the mood of the sonnet change in line 10 and the first half of line 11 of the sestet? The mood of the sonnet shifts in line 10 and the first half of line 11 of the sestet as the poem transitions from the depiction of summer to the introduction of a lone winter evening. The change in mood is characterized by a shift from a joyful and celebratory tone to a more subdued and contemplative atmosphere. In the octave, the poem celebrates the lively sound of nature and the enduring beauty found in the midst of summer. However, with the phrase "on a lone winter evening" in line 10, a sense of solitude and quietness emerges, signaling the shift in mood. The mention of winter creates a contrast in the vibrant energy of summer, evoking a feeling of stillness and isolation. The first half of line 11 further contributes to the changing mood by describing the effect of frost and its role in creating silence. The word silence implies a lack of movement and sound, adding to the contemplative and serene atmosphere of winter. The shift in mood serves to highlight the contrast between the two seasons and emphasizes the critical nature of life. It invites the reader to reflect on the changing rhythms of nature and the ability to find beauty and solace in both the vibrant liveliness of summer and the tranquil stillness of winter. Question 6. Refer to the end of line 11. Is the song of the cricket beautiful? Explain your answer. No, not really. From a literal standpoint, the use of the word shrill in line 12 suggest a sharp or high-pitched sound, which may not be associated with beauty. Question 7. Why do you think Keats actually likes this voice? Base your answer on lines 12 to 14. Keats appreciates the voice of the cricket because it represents warmth and comfort amidst the cold winter landscape. The song of the cricket is described as increasing in warmth, and it resonates with the listener who is in a state of drowsiness. The presence of the cricket's song brings a sense of coziness, contrasting with the silence and stillness of the winter evening. Keats finds value in the voice because it reminds him of the enduring power of nature and its ability to provide solace even in the harshest conditions. Question 8. Comment on the use of capitals for grasshopper and cricket. The use of capitals for grasshopper and cricket serves to personify these creatures and elevate their significance within the poem. By capitalizing their names, Keats grants them a certain level of importance and individuality. It suggests that they are not just ordinary insects, but rather symbolic figures representing aspects of nature and life. The capitals draw attention to their presence and emphasize their roles as singers and contributors to the poetry of earth. It also adds a touch of formality and emphasis to their names, highlighting their significance in the context of the poem's themes and messages. Thank you for joining me on this journey of analysis. But before I go, one last joke. This one is for you, Eugene. A Texan farmer goes to Australia for vacation. There he meets an Aussie farmer and gets talking. The Aussie shows off his big wheat fields, and the Texan says, "Oh, we have wheat fields that are at least twice as large." Then they walk around the ranch a little, and the Aussie shows off his herd of cattle. The Texan immediately says, "We have longhorns that are at least twice as large as your cows." The conversation has meanwhile almost died when the Texan sees a herd of kangaroos hopping through the field. He asks, "What are those?" The Aussie, fed up with the bragging, asks with an incredulous look, "Don't you have any grasshoppers in Texas?" Cheers, guys.